After reuniting with Applejack and Rainbow Dash, we were all surprised when Fluttershy pulled up to the tavern where we had met in a glittering, bejeweled carriage emblazoned with the letters RDE. While I had hoped this meant that at least one of my friends was doing well in life, a tussle between Dash and Applejack resulted in Fluttershy intervening to break it up, and her choker being torn off, revealing an ugly scar all around her neck from a wound so severe it has permanently damaged her ability to speak. The pony she was traveling with told us that he works for Rarity Divine Enterprises, and that Rarity herself had sent Fluttershy to meet with us and take us back to her mansion rather than come to see us at the tavern. Thus, we journeyed to the most ostentatious house I have ever seen in my life, a place that far eclipsed the opulence of Canterlot. Rarity herself, at first, seemed just the same as she used to be when I had last seen her, albeit a lot wealthier these days. When talking with her one-on-one, however, I was shocked to hear the way she talked about her friends, so cruelly and unsympathetically that it left me reeling and wondering just how much she has really changed after all.
Dark the stars and dark the moon. Hush the night and the morning gloom. Tell the horses and beat on your drum. Con their master, con their son. Dark the oceans and dark the sky. Hush the whales and the ocean tide. Tell the soldiers and beat on your drum. Con their master, con their son. Dark the stars and dark the moon. Hush the night and the morning gloom. Tell the horses and beat on your drum. Gone their master, gone their son. Dark the oceans and dark the sky. Hush the whales and the ocean tide. Tell the soldiers and beat on your drum. Con their master, con their son.
And I said, "Fancy pants, my dear sweet summer child, you cannot possibly be serious, wearing white after Equestria Day? Why, it's so gauche I may be physically ill." And, of course, every pony laughed because, oh, darlings. You look positively scrumptious. So clean and neat as a pin now. Oh, you've done a wonderful job with them, Fluttershy. Why, I barely recognize them as the same ponies I used to know.
Is this really necessary?
Gotta agree with Dash here. Why are you making us wear these duds, Rarity? They don't feel or fit right.
Oh, nonsense, Applejack, darling. You both look, wonderful. And now sit. Dinner will soon be served. Fluttershy, could you please be an absolute delight and go check on how Chef Cheval is doing with our meal?
Hey, Fluttershy! Aren't you going to eat with us too? Fluttershy? Hey! Don't leave so soon!
Leave her be, darling. She's fine.
I beg to differ on the word fine.
I agree. So, Rarity, we're all here at dinner. You promised to explain about what happened to Fluttershy.
Well, I was going to start with the fabulous story of my rise to the top, but I suppose as she isn't here to get upset, I can tell you that part of the tale first. I'm afraid I can't tell you every detail, as the poor thing hasn't been able to speak since I found her. I can, however, tell you how I found her. Slave traders had...
What? What do you mean, slave traders? What was she doing with them?
And what were you doing involved with slavers, Rarity?
Slave traders? In Equestria? That can't be true.
I'm afraid it's true, Twi. I've taken down a couple in my travels. I try to sneak out ponies out of Equestria and sell them in countries outside our borders, where ponies can just disappear without a trace. Or they bring in non-pony folk to sell to equestrian ponies who think it's okay to own other creatures because they ain't ponies. Damn dirty bastards. A lot of them.
But Princess Luna never said anything about...
Princess Luna don't know half of what's going on in Equestria. She knows the noble ponies and all their infighting and politicking, but us common ponies? Well, we've had to fend for ourselves while she figured her shit out after Celestia died.
If I can continue my story, I will get to all of that shortly. Now then, from what I understand, after you left and went missing, Twilight, Fluttershy became more and more obsessed with helping animals. I think she got some sort of comfort and peace from helping them, and that aided her distress when we received word of your presumed death and Princess Celestia's actual passing. So much so that Fluttershy began to look closer to the Everfree Forest for the more exotic creatures who required her kind of aid. I think she held the memory of pulling that thorn from the Manticore's paw quite dear, and wished to replicate that feeling, to recapture some of the sense of belonging, of the kind that she had the night we fought Nightmare Moon. Gossip around Ponyville said she would often travel out there alone. Before I moved away, I tried to talk some sense into her, but, well, you know how she was. She would not listen to reason. Insisted the animals needed her more than any pony possibly ever could.
And you didn't try to correct her thinking about that?
I seem to recall that you leaving her behind for the Wonderbolts had hit her particularly hard in that regard, Rainbow. So maybe you shouldn't be so quick to judge me. Well, one can only assume that at some point on one of her forages beyond the safety of Ponyville's outer limits, she was filly-napped by a group of griffin slavers. I'm not sure for how long she was in their captivity, but judging by the damage from her slave collar, I would assume it was a long time. I had written to her many times from Manhattan, but I'd never heard from her. I assumed she had no more need of pony friends and had given herself over completely to her animals. Unbeknownst to me, absolutely no pony knew where she had gone. Her cottage fell into ruin. The last I knew, the Everfree had encroached over it completely, and her house had reverted to being just another tree.
Oh, how awful. Poor Fluttershy.
Well, a few years ago my business was truly taking off, and I needed laborers to do some of the, manual labor. And I will confess I did dabble a little bit in the black market. My funds were short, what with the overheads of expanding into Manhattan, the rising costs of fabric and other materials, Sweetie Belle's private boarding school, my parents reliant on my income to keep them comfortable, and what with the economy being what it was after Princess Celestia was... Princess Luna gave us all hope, but the markets are capricious things. Hope isn't always enough to keep prices at a point where a young, upcoming fashionista is able to make a name for herself by strictly legal means. What I'm trying to say is, I know it was very unladylike to seek cheaper options, but I was a young, naive, silly mare who could not possibly have foreseen...
Rarity, stop trying to justify yourself and get on with it.
Yes. Well, I happened upon a set of griffin, merchants who promised they could employ ponies at a cheaper rate than any of the other building firms I had approached for quotations. Now, girls, you have to understand at this point that I treat all of my workers fairly and never had any intentions of treating them as actual slaves. However, they were marketed to me. They're all paid a fair wage here, have excellent living quarters, 3 square meals a day, a community of like-minded workers with whom to socialize on site, and besides, who would not wish to work surrounded by all the beautiful things I create? Why, that's practically a payment in itself.
They've got everything they could want, except the ability to leave, right?
While these merchants were explaining their business model to me, I was taken to meet their workers.
And this is our latest imported stock. Some of it's set to be shipped out to the next trade route in the morning, but you can take a look at the stock that's not already reserved for sale in Minos.
I do wish you would not refer to them like that. They are living creatures, after all.
Says the pony who's willing to pay for them living creatures like they're bits of cloth.
The economy has not been at its best since Princess Celestia was taken from us. I refuse to think of myself as a monster, but if I don't find some way to make ends meet, then I stand to lose everything. All my years and years of hard work just gone. Not to mention the effect it would have on my family.
Who are you trying to convince? Me or you?
If I am to make a living at all, then some sacrifices must be made.
Like your morals?
You're very rude for someone who hopes to make a sale today.
And you're very uppity for someone who knows she's talking to a slave trader about buying some slaves.
Well, if I'm going to do this, let's just take a look at them then.
As you wish, m'lady.
Oh my goodness, they're ponies!
Well, what did you expect?
I don't know. Yaks or minotaurs or other griffins or something, but not ponies.
So you were willing to buy them as long as they weren't your own kind? Yeah, you're totally not a monster, m'lady.
Why are some of them in cages?
They're feisty. The cages are a training tool. We call it crate training, like with dogs.
Sweet Celestia.
She ain't here anymore, lady. If she was, you'd better believe you wouldn't be talking to me right now. And not just because of your economy. Equestrian borders are a heck of a lot easier to travel through these days. Royal guards don't even check our cargo anymore. I wouldn't be surprised if the new Night Princess is a fan of slavery herself. It was legal back when she was last around, after all.
Who are you trying to convince? Me or you?
Touché. Now, are you still interested in buying some of our product, or have you lost your nerve?
I can't! It's too horrible!
Okay, then I guess you'll be leaving to find some more expensive employees who fit your pony sensibilities more. I'm sure you can afford to keep your business afloat while paying their taxes and wages and overhead costs you have. You're rich, right?
No, wait! I will inspect your products, but do you have any non-pony varieties?
Sure, follow me. They're in the next room.
You mean we have to go through this one to reach it? Past all those cages?
Or you can walk back through the other door and leave.
All right then. Lead the way.
You hiding your face with your mane? Holy crap, you ponies are too much.
I will thank you not to...
What?
Oh my!
Hey, get away from there.
Fluttershy! Is that you? Oh, darling. Oh, darling. This is where you've been all this time? We all thought... Oh, darling.
Hey, I told you to get away. This one ain't for sale.
I'll pay whatever price you want for her.
No, this one ain't for sale.
Any price you ask.
The answer's no. We like having her around. She's our favorite. And she goes where we go, and only where we go.
What do you mean, favorite?
Well, it gets lonely on the road. No one comes to see us unless they want to buy or sell our product. And winter nights get very long.
Oh, my.
So, like I said, this one ain't for sale. Now get away from that cage, lady.
Please, I beg of you. I don't care how much it costs, but please let her go.
She wouldn't be any use to you anyhow. You want product to sew and work and make clothes and shit for you. This one can't even talk anymore. One of these boys got too rough pulling on the collar one too many times. Plus her leg got busted last time and it ain't finished healing yet.
And if I say that if you do not release her from captivity, I will take this place apart bit by bit with my magic and destroy every inch of it until it's nothing but rubble?
I'd say the anti-magic enchantments on the place were made by unicorns much more powerful than you, little pony. And there are more of my guys outside this door than you could fight your way through while carrying this pony and her busted leg.
Oh. I was planning to buy several items today. At least 3 based on the price you quoted me. But I will give literally all of it to you in exchange for her. All of it. For one pony. A pony you freely admit is damaged.
Still no.
What will it take for you to give her to me?
Well now, I can think of a few things. You could take her place.
What?
I guess we could replace her with one of the others we picked up on this trip. But we won't have time to break another one in before we leave for Minos. You agree to stick around here with me and my guys until we leave, and I'll consider letting you buy your friend here.
Don't worry, Fluttershy, darling. I'll do whatever it takes to get you out of here. I agree to your terms on the strict contractual obligation that you let us both go tomorrow alive when you leave. And I want that in writing.
You ponies. You really are too funny sometimes.
Oh, Rarity.
I had to fight for Fluttershy. Not physically fight, you understand, but with deals and cold, hard negotiations. Eventually, I used every single scrap of my earnings up to that moment to purchase her freedom, but I valiantly spent it all. After we got out of there, we hugged and cried and hugged. I brought her back to my home in Manhattan, and she stayed to heal while I tried to figure out what I would do now that I'd spent literally everything I had. Luckily, I already owned the building. It was a tumble down, and I'd gotten it for practically nothing. And it was largely full of the fabric and equipment I needed to get by for a little while, but after that time had passed, I didn't know what I would do. Fluttershy needed doctors and medicine and all sorts of expensive things. And the Griffin merchant had made it quite clear to me that if I made trouble for them, things would go very badly for me.
So, you didn't even try to report to the authorities that you knew the location of the warehouse where slavers were storing equestrian citizens to sell as slaves?
I believe they made good on their promise in small ways to show me that they could indeed do it on a larger scale. When I tried to purchase new fabric, I found very few would trade with me, and those who would were frightened, and they wouldn't sell me nearly as much as I needed. And when I tried to fetch gems using my special talent, I was mugged by assailants on my way home, and everything was stolen from me. I got their message loud and clear, and so I kept my mouth shut.
That ain't right, Rare. That still ain't right.
We all do things we're not proud of when we're pushed far enough and lose enough. I believe you know that fact intimately, don't you, Applejack? Judge me if you will, but desperation is an unwelcome bedfellow. In the end, when Fluttershy was recovered enough, I entreated her to work with me, to help my business fly again in such inauspicious circumstances. I had so few options between me and ruin. I'd spent more than just all my bits on her, so she was eager to help me, of course. Ever so eager. I had to be inventive and more creative in my ideas to save myself, my business, and my future. Darlings, I had to think so far outside the box, I could not even see the box anymore. Fluttershy agreed, and so she became my assistant, and latterly, my standard-bearer, if you will. And now she and I live side by side, with a whole workforce to support everything we've built together. Though she does go out of her way for me sometimes a little too much. I've told her time and time again she's under no obligation to do anything she does not want to do, but she always pushes herself to her limits, just for my benefit.
But you know she will, Rarity. Because she feels guilty about you sacrificing so much for her. In her mind, she will probably always be in your debt. I know it might be me jumping to conclusions, but she doesn't seem happy here. When we were traveling in the carriage, she was flinching at just the mention of your name, and she seems terribly upset, almost like she's scared of you.
Yeah, something doesn't add up about your story. Why is Fluttershy so scared?
PTSD? You have no idea what she has suffered, darling. No idea. Trauma does things to ponies. It can make them harsher, sharpen their soft edges into harsh angles. As I said, desperation is a nasty bedfellow, and the only way to rid yourself of it is to change yourself until you're no longer too soft to do what needs to be done. I don't think it's fear Fluttershy is feeling, darling. More of an ongoing disagreement between us on certain methods I use in my business practices.
What kind of methods?
Better or worse than buying slaves to serve you.
You see, these kinds of clothing we're all wearing were how I managed to salvage my business after I rescued Fluttershy. The nobility fall over themselves just to have one on order because the materials used to make them are rare, to say the least. Normal fabric just will not do, not for these ponies and their upper-class money. It's all about appearances for them. Ordinary fabrics are simply just not good enough. Where's the wow factor in silk, satin, or chiffon? Where is the opulence in ordinary rubies, diamonds, or sapphires? My designs are second to none. But if they are made from the same as every other designer, or worse, with the lesser materials I could afford, then they would remain unpurchased on the rack. High-class ponies need something exotic, something that screams superiority. Producing garments no pony in the lower classes could or would wear is what has made me the designer I am today and created my fashion empire.
So what do you use that Fluttershy disagrees with?
We use more organic materials.
Organic? You mean from plants and things?
These bands kind of remind me of that manticore smell when we were in the Everfree Forest that time. Holy shit!
Is this fabric what I think it is?
Holy shit!
Oh my gosh!
Get it off me! Get it off me!
Careful with those. They cost a fortune to make.
No wonder Fluttershy seemed so disturbed when we were putting them on.
You kill animals to make these clothes, Rarity? How could you do that?
We do not kill animals. We merely recycle the dead ones. Or if there's a dangerous creature that is bothersome, we put it to better use. We're not barbarians, Twilight.
Well, this is perfect. Just absolutely perfect. Oh, what a beautiful reunion this has turned out to be. My best friends have turned out to be a violent vigilante, a reckless alcoholic, and the mute accomplice to a barbaric ice queen. Oh, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said those things, but this isn't right. It wasn't supposed to be like this for us. We were meant to be.
I'm sorry, Twi. None of us wants to see you so upset after all you've been through to find us, but, well, we can't change what life has made us. We all wish things had stayed the same from all those years back. Well, except maybe Rarity. She seems to be doing all right for herself, however she got to this point. But you need to be strong, Twi. Things could be a lot worse than they are. At least we're all still alive, right? Life's done knocked us down a bunch, but we still got back up. We're still here, still living, still fighting, and still us. Just maybe not the versions of us you remember. That don't make us any less than who we are, or were, or will be, or whatever.
You're right. I'm sorry. every pony. I'm being so selfish. I was so wrapped up in my vision of us all meeting up and everything being back like the old days that I never took into consideration that your lives may have led you in different directions than the ones in my imagination.
It ain't how we want it either, Sugar Cube. But it honestly could have been much worse. We're alive, and we're together. We can figure out the rest as we go.
Not quite all together again. Oh boy, I can't wait to see how Pinkie turned out. What?
We don't ever say that name out loud, Twilight.
What, Pinkie Pie?
Oh, dang nabbit-twa. Hold your tongue.
But I don't understand. Why don't you talk about Pinkie Pie?
Darling, please, for the love of all that is fashionable and beautiful, please refrain from saying that name.
Okay, what's the joke here? You keep telling me not to mention Pinkie Pie, but you won't tell me why, which of course is going to make me mention her more. Fluttershy, what is your reaction if I say the name Pinkie Pie? What happened to Pinkie Pie? Is she dead? Oh my gosh. She's dead, isn't she?
Twilight. Pinkie. She kinda...
Shut up, Rainbow! Shut your damn mouth right now! We all promise not to...
Get your hooves off me, apple crap! Don't touch me! She has a right to know! I think we should tell her! After all the other bad news she's had to put up with today, it's only fair! Twilight, Pinkie Pie, she...
My table! My crockery! Applejack, you beast! Stop that this instant!
Applejack, stop!
Twilight, Pinkie is...
I said no!
My ribs. I think you broke them.
Gods! Will somebody please restrain that monster before she ruins any more of my precious possessions?
Yes, Lady Rarity. Come here, you!
Get your stinking hooves off me! Come on! I can take all of you! Give me all you got! I'm Angerjack! You hear me? Ain't nothing gonna stop Angerjack!
Protect Lady Rarity at all costs!
Twilight, Fluttershy, come on. We must leave before you get hurt.
I can't just leave Applejack and Dash to kill each other. Go with Rarity, Fluttershy. I'll calm them down or something. Rarity, make sure Fluttershy stays safe.
I always do, darling.
Twi, listen to me.
I said don't! We all promised we wouldn't speak about her, and I don't plan to break that promise, even if Twi is here!
But she has a right to know. Twi, Pinkie Pie was...
I said shut up, Rainbow!
No!
Look out! The chandelier! It's coming down! Candles! They've set the curtains on fire! Every pony out, quick!
Run for it! Everyone run! Dash! Help! Somebody help me! I'm sorry. Oh, Dash, I'm sorry. Dash!
Don't you understand? This is my chance. I can escape in the confusion.
Please!
You don't know what it's like here. I can't stay here anymore. I just can't. I'm sorry. I can't. I might not get another chance.
No, wait, please!
Here, let me.
You're the one who knocked her out! You think I'm gonna let you touch her now that she can't fight back?
I ain't asking.
My mansion! It's on fire! You barbarians! What have you done?
You'll buy a new one. You'll be fine, Rare. You always are. Why? You slapped me. I guess I deserve that.
You idiot! You could have killed her! You could have killed her! You could have killed her! You could have killed her!
Why? Please, do me a favor. When Dash wakes up, tell her I'm sorry.
Tell her yourself.
I can't. Not after this. I gotta go. And, Twi, whatever that flappermouth says, don't go looking for her. For Pinkie. Just don't. Please. Just don't.
Applejack, wait! Don't go! Not like this! Not like this!
My beautiful home! My workshop! My everything! It's all gone thanks to those two ruffians! Ugh, you stupid mules! What are you doing? Find water and put this fire out right now! Maybe it's not too late. I can still salvage some of the dresses in the East Wing. Ah! What is that?
That's an Ursa Minor. But why is it here? They're in hibernation at this time of year.
Oh no!
And that's a cockatrice. They never leave the Everfree Forest. What is one doing running around here? And all these animals. They look so scared. What are they running from?
Fluttershy, what have you done? You let them out of the abattoir on purpose, didn't you? Didn't you? Oh, I'm ruined! Ruined! Years of hard work all flushed down the drain! Fluttershy, I'll skin you for this!
Rarity, I thought you said your raw materials were just recycled from the already dead bodies of creatures that died of natural causes. You lied?
Oh, grow up, Twilight! Of course I lied! Everyone lies! Only fools and foes think everyone is telling the truth all the time! And I am neither a fool nor a fool!
Rarity, you've been raising rare creatures so that you can harvest their skins for your fashion line?
Don't you dare judge me! I had nothing, Twilight! nothing except a dependent who could not even speak or walk outside without collapsing and crying until I carried her back inside. I had bills to pay, Twilight, and they kept growing and growing until I was about to lose everything. I had no other options left to me. My family couldn't help. My friends were all gone. You decided you would rather hide away like a hermit in Canterlot Castle, pretending you were too dead to help me. So I did what needed to be done in order to survive.
But that's monstrous!
What's monstrous is that everything I worked so hard for is burning in front of my eyes. I'll bet Fluttershy was just waiting for an opportunity to let them out. I'll bet this fire and the distraction of your presence was just the excuse she needed to do what she always wanted to do. The ungrateful wretch! I gave up everything for her. I was hurt and humiliated for her, and this is how she repays me?
Rarity, that's not fair! This wasn't all Fluttershy's fault!
You're right, Twilight. It's not her fault. This is all your fault. If you had not come back, if you had not written that stupid letter and brought them together to come here, everything would have been fine. We would have carried on with our separate lives and been happy. Don't you see, you sniveling little coward? We don't need you anymore, Twilight Sparkle. We learned how to cope without you. You left us. You abandoned us when we needed you the most. And now you think you can just waltz back into our lives and act like that didn't happen? We thought you were dead, and instead you were just lounging around in the royal castle, living the high life and hiding behind Princess Luna while we struggled and hurt and well, you should have just stayed dead if that's all you thought of us. If you hadn't... Wait, where are you going? You can't just leave after...
Just don't, Rarity. I'm taking Rainbow Dash, and I'm leaving. You're right. I did wrong by you, and I can't pretend that I didn't. I should never have tried to reconnect with you. I'm sorry I came back at all.
You can't just leave! What about my house?
I'm sure you have insurance. You can buy another house. Maybe you can even buy yourself some new friends. Some who better fit your new lifestyle. And your new values, too.
You know what? I hate you, Twilight Sparkle! And I hate you, Fluttershy! You ungrateful little traitor! You're nothing without me! Let's see how long you can survive without me there to protect and look after you! Go on! Run away! I don't need you! I don't need anyone! She never should have come back! Friendship is a lie!
I will be king, and you will be queen. them away. We can beat them just for one day. We can be heroes just for one day. And you will be mean, and I'll drink all the time, 'cause we're lovers, and that's a fact. Yes, we're lovers, and that is that. Though nothing will keep us together, we could steal time just for one day. We can be heroes forever and ever. What do you say? You could swim like dolphins, like the dolphins can swim. Though nothing will keep us together, we can beat them forever and ever. We could be heroes just for one day. And you will be queen. Though nothing will drive them away, we can beat them just for one day.